Hello and welcome to Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Patterson. On today's show, Volusia Here and Now reporter Kendra Lee takes a look at the charms of visiting an ocean pier. Then urban and residential horticulturalist Joe Sewards brings us Florida-friendly gardening tips. And Community Information Director Dave Byron is joined in the studio by his guest, Volusia County Court Judge Judith Davidson, for an in-depth interview about DUI and drug court. Those segments, news, and more coming right up on Volusia Magazine. Stay tuned. Hurricane season is here, and this is a great time for homeowners to get their house in shape and ready. When a big storm is approaching, it may be too late to protect against high winds and flying debris. Homeowners should pay special attention to the most vulnerable areas of the roof, windows, and doors. Homeowners who meet income eligibility requirements and need upgrades to improve their home's wind resistance may qualify for Volusia County's Wind Hazard Mitigation Program. The maximum loan per household is $10,000. Funds can be used for owner-occupied homes in Volusia County, except within the city limits of Daytona Beach, Deltona, and Ponce Inlet.
The program is specific for wind hazard mitigation. It's not a general repair program, so it can provide hurricane shutters, coverings for doors, can provide upgraded garage doors if your garage door doesn't meet wind codes, as well as gable end tie downs.
Even better, if the homeowner lives in the home for 5 years and complies with the program restrictions, the loan will be forgiven. Applicants will work with the county's community assistance staff to apply and determine eligibility for the Wind Hazard Mitigation Program.
This program is funded with state and federal grants, and because of the grant requirements, all applicants have to be income eligible, and that means that all the members of the household need to provide information on their income and amounts, and that information is provided to staff, which is reviewed and verified to make sure that the household income is within the income guidelines of the program.
For more information about the Wind Mitigation Program, you can visit volusia.org/housing or call Volusia County's Community Assistance Division at 386-736-5955. The Volusia County Council is seeking citizen volunteers who would like to spend the next year studying the Volusia County Home Rule Charter. The county charter, which is the equivalent of a local constitution for the operations of Volusia County government, requires a citizen review at least every 10 years. The county council has opened the application process and intends to appoint 15 citizens to serve on the charter review committee. According to the charter, the Citizen Review Committee must be appointed not more than 18 months prior to the next succeeding general election. The Charter Review Commission can look at the structure of the county government operations and the county charter itself. Any recommended amendments to the charter are placed directly on the next general election ballot. In addition to amendments, the Charter Review Commission can present a report on matters that do not require a vote by the Volusia electorate. Citizens who wish to serve on the Charter Committee must fill out an application no later than June 29th. Applications can be obtained on the county's website, volusia.org, or at the county manager's office by calling 386-736-5902. It should be noted service on this commission is voluntary and likely is to require frequent attendance at public meetings and additional outside reading. All commission members will be subject to the Florida Sunshine Law. Sea turtles are nesting on Volusia beaches in record numbers. The most recent reports from Volusia County Environmental Management show 258 sea turtle nests have been identified on Volusia County beaches since May 1st, the official start of the summer nesting season. At this time last year, and on average years, the number of nests on the same date averages about 150. In 2012, there were more than 300 nests on June 8th, which is the highest on record. Of the 258 nests, 11 are leatherbacks and 1 is a green turtle. The remainder of the nests were made by loggerheads, historically the most common sea turtles to nest on Volusia County's beaches. According to Jennifer Winters, the county's Sea Turtle Habitat Conservation Plan Manager, this year's nesting activity is up due to several factors, including recovering nesting populations with more females at a sexually reproductive age, suitable wide nesting beaches with soft dry sand areas, and more people ensuring that they're doing their part to keep the beaches dark and litter-free.
Well, everybody can do easy stuff, like if you're visiting the beach, whatever you bring to the beach, take that home with you, and leave the beach the way you found it. If you make large sandcastles or dig large holes, fill those in before you leave, particularly if it's in a dry sand area. If you see a turtle nesting at night, really just kind of stand back and be calm and quiet and let nature take its course. In recent years, we've been getting a lot more reports of people taking pictures with their cell phones, and even those quick flashes of bright lights can be harmful for turtles and will cause them to abandon their nesting attempt. So it's really important that we not shine lights on the turtles as they're nesting. Use the natural moonlight, to guide yourself and to watch the turtles if you happen to be so lucky.
Officially, the sea turtle nesting season on Volusia beaches is from May 1st through October 31st. This year, 4 leatherback nests were discovered in mid-April along Volusia County's beaches. Approximately 48 to 60 days after the first nest is laid, usually in late June or July, the first nest is beginning to hatch, and the hatching continues into October. The last nests usually are laid in late August. Occasionally, a nest will be made in September, which will hatch in late October. Winters said continued survival of this species depends on all beach guests and beachfront property owners to do what they can to protect the beach habitat.
The lighting ordinance is in effect throughout the summer, and this is something else that visitors and beachside residents can help us with by ensuring that the lights are not visible from the beach. There's a lot of ways to safely light your property by directing lights with shields and positioning them so that they're shining away from the beach and onto your property where you need it the most.
And for more information on this year's sea turtle nesting numbers, you can log on to volusiaseaturtle.org.
I'm Volusia County Chair Jason Davis. The University of Central Florida is running a very successful business incubator at Daytona Beach International Airport in partnership with Volusia County. The UCF Business Incubation Program is a collaboration and economic development between UCF and the Florida High Tech Corridor Council, which links startup companies with experienced professionals and provides access to educational programs that lead them to business success. The goal of the incubation program is to offer a supportive environment to inspire the entrepreneurial spirit, accelerate business growth, and create local employment opportunities. For more information, visit www.incubator.ucf.edu.
Volusia County beaches are a big attraction for tourists and for locals. And as Here and Now reporter Kendra Lee explains, if you like to fish or just like getting a little further out in the ocean, visiting an ocean pier provides a unique experience.
Volusia County is home to a unique coastline offering up to 47 miles of sun, surf, and sand to its beachgoers. Along those coastlines are several ocean fishing piers with some unique perks for fishermen.
Fishing in Volusia County is great, and a lot of folks may not know that we have a lot of ocean pier fishing opportunities for folks that don't have boats. The Main Street Pier in downtown Daytona Beach, the Sunglow Pier in Daytona Beach Shores, and the Jetty Deck located at Lighthouse Point Park offer great opportunities for people to fish in the Atlantic Ocean on a pier and not a boat.
Nolan explains that numerous kinds of fish congregate around the pier because of the structure that it creates along the seabed.
Typical pier catch includes whiting, which is a ground fish anywhere from 12 to 20 inches long that kind of migrates along the seafloor. It's in the drum family, and they're really easy to catch. The other Fish that congregate around the piers are sheep's head and black drum and red drum. Another popular catch is flounder, and that's a flat fish that a lot of people might be familiar with. And at certain times of the year in the spring and fall, the flounder run around the piers will be hot and heavy, and everybody on the pier will be pulling up flounder, and it attracts a lot of folks to come here and fish.
If you're planning on fishing in Volusia County this season, you have to make sure to have the right bait. Dead shrimp, live shrimp, and mullet are all great things to catch the right fish. So what did you just catch?
A whiting, a pretty good sized whiting with live shrimp. They're good eating. A little bit of a hassle to clean up because they're bony, but there's a majority of what people catch out here.
One of the prized ocean piers available in Volusia County is the Jetty Deck at Lighthouse Point Park. This 55-acre inlet shore and ocean beach allow for a beautiful scenic fishing experience while also providing access to a large pelagic species many cannot catch without a boat.
All kinds of great fish congregate around that jetty structure and are common catches, including snook, flounder, redfish, jack crevalle, even barracuda and kingfish from time to time, which are large, considered oceanic large pelagic species. But they congregate around the jetty as well certain times of the year, right? Mangrove snapper is another big catch off of the jetty deck at Lighthouse Point Park. And we encourage folks to come down to Lighthouse Point Park. It's about 8 miles south of the Daytona Beach Shores area, right in the shadow of Ponce de Leon Lighthouse.
There is a fee of $7 for adults and $3 for children to fish at the Sunglow Pier in Daytona Beach Shores. A $10 per vehicle entrance fee to Lighthouse Point Park, and there's no fee to fish or sightsee at the Daytona Beach Pier. For Volusia Here and Now, I'm Kendra Lee.
Time now to check in with Joe Sewards, our horticultural agent, to get a look at what's growing in the Volusia County Extension Garden, which is now in its second year of development under the Volusia County Eco Grant Program.
Hi, I'm Joe Sewards, and welcome to Horticulture Today. Today I want to give you another update on our vegetable garden project, otherwise known as our edible landscape. As you can see here, I just harvested a purple carrot. There are many different colors of carrots. Makes it really interesting when you can mix your colors. Purple carrots, there's white carrots, yellow carrots, orange carrots, there's even red carrots. That makes for a very interesting salad. Behind me you also see some corn. This is harvest season, by the way. It's hard to grow vegetables in the summertime here in Florida, so this being June, we're in the process of cleaning everything out, harvesting, and we're going to prepare for the summer. You can grow a few things like some squash, some sweet potatoes, more corn, a few beans, things like that, okra, but not a whole lot grows in the summer here. So that's a good time to get things cleaned up, maybe solarize your beds, and get ready for the fall garden. As you can see, we've got fresh, ready corn ready to go here. I'm going to open one up for you so you can see what it looks like. There's nothing like fresh vegetables right out of the garden. This is an interesting way to shuck corn too. If you cut the end off of it and peel it from the bottom instead of the top, then you get all of the shuck off of the actual ear, and you get most of the silk as well. So your corn is nice and clean and ready to eat. Our edible landscape project here is an important part of Florida-friendly landscaping. It shows people ideas of how they can incorporate edible plants into their landscape and have a well-managed, clean, relatively weed-free and pest-free vegetable garden. Raised beds make harvesting and weeding easier. We've employed square-foot gardening principles in some of them. And we have a variety of vegetables here, everything from spaghetti squash. We have fruits such as blueberries, the carrots that you saw earlier, corn, tomatoes, herbs, cucumbers, melons, anything that you can imagine. We recycle everything in our garden here. Every time we harvest a crop, we take the leftovers and throw them on our compost bin. Then we use the compost after it's well rotted and put it back in the beds and use it to add organic matter to our vegetable gardens. This is our bean patch. We have several different types of beans growing in here. We have purple beans, we have green beans, and we have striped beans that have some purple stripes in them that makes for an interesting salad. We have different colors of beets as well. We have the traditional red beets, and we also have some orange colored beets. And again, just to make it interesting, it makes it interesting when you harvest, it makes it interesting if you have children's gardens, and it makes for an interesting salad. If you have a fence at home, you don't like the looks of it, and if you want to save space in your garden, you can grow watermelons and other types of vining crops, cucumbers, melons, watermelons, etc. up the fence. It saves space. They're not crawling all over the ground, hides the fence, makes it easier to harvest. Here we're harvesting our potatoes. People might think that these potatoes look sick, but this is the end of potato season. This is what they're supposed to look like. We've been leaving them in the ground so that they can harden off, and now it's time to harvest potatoes. For more information on edible landscaping and how to incorporate edible plants into your own landscape, you can contact us here at the University of Florida Extension, Volusia County. Our phone number is area code 386-822-5778, or you can visit us on the web at volusia.org/extension. For Horticulture Today, I'm Joe Sewards.
Well, let's head into the studio to join our very own Community Information Director, Dave Byron, as he sits down with Volusia County Court Judge Judith Davidson, the judge who presides over DUI and drug court.
Well, thanks, Amber, and hi, everyone. You know, it's not surprising that substance abuse is a direct or indirect factor in the majority of crimes. So in an effort to address the root cause of many people's problems, some offenders in Volusia County are sentenced to drug court or DUI court to see if they can turn their lives around, and the results have been pretty startling. The drug court on May 27th marked its 61st graduation, and the DUI court marked its 16th graduation, and there was a celebration of the success of people who are substance-free and likely not to return to the court system. With us in the studio today is County Court Judge Judith Davidson, and she's one of the judges who presides over DUI court. Judge, how you doing today?
Great. Thank you, Dave. It's great to be here.
Hey, thanks for having, first time on Volusia Magazine.
Yes,
so,
it is.
So it's a pleasure. Hey, let's start with some, I guess, some general, maybe an opinion question. In your opinion, how big a factor is substance abuse in people that get arrested?
Dave, I think it's a huge factor for the crime rate here in Volusia County and across the state and the nation. It's been my experience as an attorney before and as a judge now on the criminal bench. I see lots of people that suffer from substance abuse, and statistics have borne this out. It's about 80%.
Right, yeah, I was going to say, I know it's a significant factor. And it's not just the impact to the arrestee or the substance abuser themselves, but their families.
Yes.
They get destroyed in this whole process as well.
Yes, they do. A lot of the people that are suffering from substance abuse have children. And these children suffer abuse or neglect. Sometimes they're taken into custody through DCF. We also have parents that are very typically, in the typical scenario for the drug court participant, the substance abuser has stolen from their parent.
You in the judiciary see this all the time. I mean, you do this every day. And, again, there's probably no data to back up the answer to this question. But just in a general opinion, do you think that the substance abuse problem in our community, is it getting better, is it getting worse, or is it just staying the same? What do you think?
Unfortunately, I think that it's getting a little bit worse.
Do you?
And I think it may be increasing while the age of the offender is decreasing.
Really?
The face of drug court and DUI court is definitely a younger face than
Is
what
that
we've
right?
seen in years past.
And speaking with some of your counterparts, we've done this interview every year for quite a few years. And one of the things that the judges that I've talked to previously have said, well, the substance abuse problem probably doesn't get any worse or any better, but the drug of choice changes. I mean, do you see that?
Yes, we do see that. We have the synthetic marijuana now and the bath salts and things that we'd never heard of 20 years ago. And heroin seems to be making a comeback.
And of course, I guess the end result is just as negative no matter what the drug of choice is.
Yes.
Hey, so let's talk about the concept of drug court and DUI court. I mean, there's a philosophy here about these two courts.
Yes, drug courts and DUI court. DUI court is modeled after the drug court.
Yeah.
And it is a problem-solving court, which means we handle the participant in a different way than we would in a normal sentencing in a traditional court. The person that is a participant will have to go through 4 phases in order to graduate. And it's very intensive. The first phase is they see the judge once a week. They see their probation officer once a week. They go to treatment at least 4 times a week. They have at least 2 random UAs a week. In DUI court, we also have a deputy that goes to the homes and has the right to enter the home and search the home and make sure there's not illicit drugs or alcohol in the home.
Right. Well, Judge, who qualifies for drug court or DUI court? Is it something that the arrestee has any choice in, or how do you select someone for this?
They do have a choice if they'd rather like to enter into DUI court, but they are screened. At the initial setting, they are screened. We try to get them in as soon as possible to get into treatment, but they're screened to make sure they're eligible. They're nonviolent. The drug court is nonviolent felony offenders, and for DUI court, it's those that have DUIs, not DUIs with manslaughter or serious bodily injury.
And as you said, and as we've learned in previous interviews, I mean, this is no day at the beach. These people, in order to successfully complete this drug court or DUI court, I mean, they have to spend a considerable amount of time to complete this course.
Yes, they do. I tell them when they enter into DUI court, I say, this isn't an easy program. If you want to just get it over with, it's easier to go the traditional method.
Right.
But it is a successful method.
Right.
And it is one that, of course, I would highly recommend.
Sure. Well, I guess what I'm hearing you say that, you get someone that goes through drug or alcohol court, I guess the underlying premise is if you can eliminate the root cause, which would be the substance abuse, then perhaps you have a much higher chance of not seeing that person back in the court system. Is that the premise?
That is the premise. If you take away the need for the drug, you take away the need for the crime.
Right. So, we've been doing this now many years for the drug court, and as you say, the DUI court was kind of modeled after the drug court. I know you don't have papers in front of you, but give me some general thoughts on the success of this program. I know the results have been really pretty impressive.
Yes, the recidivism, that means the chance that somebody will return back into the criminal system. We have a success rate in drug court of 75%.
Wow.
Now locally our numbers are higher than that, and for DUI court our local numbers are 90%.
Wow. So you'd love to take those odds into the lottery every week, right?
Yes, yes, that would be great.
So I mean, seriously, those numbers are startling, and of course, if you compare that with the downside of a rearrest, the cost to the public, the continued devastation to the families and so forth, this would seem to be a pretty smart way to go for these people that qualify.
Yes, yes, and it not only affects the participant, but also the ripple effect that I like to say, as for the families, the loved ones, the community as a whole.
Why do you think that these programs have been so successful?
I think that the drug court model has been successful because it takes the judicial system and combines it with treatment.
Right.
And we have the parameters, the accountability, the boundaries that come with the judicial system.
Right.
And we combine it with treatment.
Right.
And rather than having each of those separate, but when you combine them, that has the most successful chance of someone gaining and maintaining sobriety.
Now, I want to repeat what you had said earlier. Folks that are going through drug or alcohol courts, they're tested regularly, and I guess every now and then you have someone that falls out of compliance. What happens at that point?
Well, relapse can be expected. We take the participant that we want are those that are highly addicted, and so we can expect relapse. And the typical sentence for the first time is about 3 days in jail.
Really?
And we want them to get in, to detox, to realize we're serious,
right,
and then to come out and get right back into treatment.
Uh-huh.
Now, if there are successive relapses, then usually the sanctions get more severe.
Right. Now, I guess what that implies then is that they're out of the jail system at this point. They're trying to get their family lives back and so forth. I know, I think I've understood in the past that you try to get them employed and try to get them back into being productive citizens, I guess.
Yes, we do have an employment requirement
right.
with DUI court and with drug court.
Right. So you have this graduation every year, and we've been several times, and it is a highly emotional graduation. In many ways, I guess it's a life success story for a lot of these participants. What's it like sitting there as a judge who's been overseeing this?
It's very emotional.
Yeah.
Especially if you could see the booking photo from day one and then see the picture of the graduate. For DUI Court, we give the graduate a picture of when they graduate, and so that they can see the change, that not only the outward change, but the inward change that has happened. And you see families there when at once, before they entered into drug court, had no contact with their family. They've been reunited with their children. It is really a wonderful experience.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, in the video that we've seen in the past, it's not just the jubilation and the sense of accomplishment for the abuser who is now not an abuser, but the families themselves. And as you just said, it's almost like a unification of putting a family back together, is it not?
Yes, yes it is. And it's just wonderful because even though it's a court proceeding, our graduation is considered a court proceeding, we allow hooping and hollering and clapping, and it's really a great celebration.
So I had never thought of it that way, but as you're saying it's a court proceeding, does that mean their sentence is over?
Yes, yes. Once they have successfully completed drug court, DUI court, they have completed their requirements and their probation is terminated.
So what sort of monitoring takes place after they graduate? I mean, how do you know they stay on the straight and narrow?
There is monitoring that is done by the drug court coordinator to make sure that, to keep the statistics and the studies. Drug court wants to make sure that it is successful and relevant and doing its job, and we keep the statistics to make sure that things are going the way that we anticipate that they go.
And I would suppose that a lot of these folks continue on with some kind of counseling?
Yes, and our treatment provider does provide treatment for them if they want to come back into aftercare.
Yeah, because a lot of times in substance abuse, in many cases, it's a lifelong commitment.
Yes. Part of our requirements are that they attend an AA type meeting or an NA type meeting, and that we encourage sponsors so that they can learn to, after they've gained and maintained their sobriety, to do that for a lifetime.
Right. Well, Judge, I want to thank you for sharing the information with us. This has obviously been a very successful program here in Volusia County. Substance abuse, of course, is a very big problem, not just here, but across the country as well. Seems like this is a pretty good solution, huh?
I think so.
Our guest today, Judge Judith Davidson with the county court system. Judge, again, thanks for being with us.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
And with that, Amber, we'll go back to you.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you for watching Volusia Magazine. If you have any questions about the show, you can feel free to give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here, or you can log on to volusia.org and click on the News tab at the top of the screen to find us. Incidentally, you can find the County Council's meeting calendar there too. In fact, you can use volusia.org to find out about meeting dates, workshops, topics of interest, activities, and how you can become involved. And we hope you won't forget to listen to Volusia Today, Volusia County Government's weekly public radio broadcast. Volusia Today airs every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday mornings on the local radio stations you see on your screen. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Amber Patterson. Have a wonderful evening.